everybody. Welcome to your Flex Friday. Today is going to be a quiz day, which means that I am going to be working with you in this video on the questions that are going to be on your quiz. So if I were you, I would make sure that you watch this video, take your time, come to my Zoom, and then do the quiz. That way you do well on it. All right, here we go. You're going to start today by finding the area, the perimeter, and converting things. Okay, so if I am trying to build a new porch, say I want to put a new porch in my backyard, all right? I want somewhere for me and Lincoln to go out and hang out in the summertime, put a hammock on it or some lawn chairs and just relax. And I want to make sure that it is also fenced in because I don't want him getting out into the yard and tumbling or falling or getting into a hot mess unless I'm right there with him, right? So I'm going to start by looking at my yard, and I see that this side of my yard is going to be 5 yards when I measured it. When I measured this side that I'm going to use is going to be 7.5 yards. Let's do 7.5 yards. It's fine. Okay. I lied. Let's do 7 1/3. I'm going to make it easy. 7 1/3 yard. We are going to start today by trying to find the perimeter. So remember, the perimeter is the outside edge of something. Your perimeter. Think about if I draw a P, the perimeter is the outside edge, right? So finding my perimeter of this yard, so I can go by fencing. Okay, so I know that this is 7 1/3. It's a rectangle, so this is also 7 1/3. This is 5, so that means this is also 5. How do I find perimeter? How do I find perimeter? If you said add all sides together, you are absolutely correct. So that's where we're going to start. We're going to find the perimeter in yards first, but my final answer has to be in feet. So let's go slowly. Let's do one step at a time. Let's find the perimeter in yards. So 5 plus 5 plus 7 1/3 plus 7 1/3. Okay, so I know 5 plus 5 is 10. 7 1/3 plus 7 1/3 is 14 2/3. Add those together, we have 24 2/3 yards. Great. Here's the problem. If I go to Menards and I say, I need 24 2/3 yards, they're going to look at me like I'm nuts. When they sell their fencing in this specific Menards or Lowe's or wherever I want to go, they sell it by feet. So this is my perimeter in yards. Now I need to figure out how many feet that is. So how many feet are in 1 yard? There are 3 feet in 1 yard. So that means I need to take this answer and I need to multiply by 3. So what is 3 times 24 2/3? Do the math. What is 3 times 24 2/3? All right. When I do the math, I know that I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do it a little different way. I'm going to do 24 times 3 and then 2/3 times 3. Okay, so I'm going to erase a little bit of my work up here just so I have a little bit more room. Okay, so 24 2/3 times 3. Okay, 3 times 2/3. I'm going to start that way. 3 times 2/3. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 1 is 3. So 6 divided by 3 is 2. So when I multiply 3 times 2/3, my answer is 2. What is 3 times 24? Well, 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. So 72. Add those together, my final answer should be 74. 74 feet, because we converted it, right? Great. Now, that is going to be my area in feet. How did I do that problem? I added the sides together. Write this down. You'll need it for your quiz. And then I multiplied by 3. So if I were to ask you, how did you solve that question? I added the sides together and multiplied by 3 to find the feet. Would be an acceptable answer. How did you solve that question? I hope you were paying attention, and I hope that you got that answer right, especially since I just said it to you. Okay, great. Now we know how to find the perimeter. We know how much fencing I'm going to need. Now I need to know how much of the wood decking I need. So I now need to find the area. And we know that to find the area, it's the same as length times width. So using these numbers, what is the area in yards? It's okay at first. I want it in yards. What is the area in yards of this little porch? All right, you should have done 5 times 7 times 3 is 21 plus 1 is 22. 5 over 1 times 22 over 3. Okay, 1 times 3 is 3. 5 times 22. Okay, 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 2 is 10 plus 1 is 11. 110 over 3. Now I need to divide. 110 divided by 3. All right, 3 goes into 11. 3 times.
Good afternoon, Kitley Glass.
All right, 11 minus 9 is 2. Bring down my 0. 3 goes into 26 times. 6 times 3 is 18 with 2 left over. And now I make that as my numerator and 3 is my denominator. So your answer should have been 36 2/3 yards squared. Awesome. If I ask you how you did that, you can tell me I multiplied length times width. I convert it into mixed improper fractions. I multiplied straight across. Use your words. All right, now it's tricky. This part is probably the most trickiest that we have seen. I know that if I have 1 square yard, if this whole thing is 1 yard, and this whole side is 1 yard, if I need to convert it by feet, you don't just multiply by 3. Technically, I separate the yard this way by 3. But then I also separate it this way. How many square feet are in 1 square yard? Well, looking at this picture, you can see that 9 square feet equals 1 square yard. Okay. Now I need to find how many square feet my porch is going to be. So this is already in yards. I need to convert it to feet, so I need to multiply by 9. That's what you're going to do now. What is 36 2/3 times 9? I don't care what way you do this. If you want to do area model, great. You want to do improper fractions, great. Find a way that works for you. I'm going to do this one area model. 36 2/3, and 9. So my top box, I'm going to do 36 times 9. My bottom box, we're going to do 2/3 times 9. 2/3 times 9. 9 times 2 is 18. 3 times 1 is 3. 18 divided by 3 equals 6. 36 times 9. 9 times 6 is 54. 9 times 3 is 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. So 324. Now I'm going to add 324 plus 6 is 330. So this container, this yard, has 330 feet squared. 330 feet squared. Awesome. Now this is where it gets tricky. Okay. If I were to ask you how you found that answer, you would say, first, I found the area in yards. Then I multiplied by 9 because there are 9 square feet in 1 square yard. So again, if I ask you on a quiz or I don't know, in this Ed puzzle, how did you solve that problem? You would say, first I found the area in square yards. Then I multiplied by 9 because there are 9 square feet in 1 square yard. So how did you solve that problem? All right, now is the tricky question. Okay, how many feet is 6 inches? So 6 inches equals how many feet? I didn't pause it on purpose. I want you to really just think about it. So 1 foot is 12 inches. 1 foot is 12 inches. So that means that 6 inches is the same as 1/2 foot, right? This is going to be the next part of your question that you very well might have on your quiz, and it might be very similar to this one. It also very might well be a question very similar to the one that very similar might be on your test. Anyway, here we go. 6 inches is the same as 1/2 foot. So imagine I go out there with Lincoln, we're playing, we're having fun, and it starts to snow. We get 6 inches of snow. If I shovel the entire area, how many feet of snow would I shovel off? Remember, that is kind of like volume. We have a length, we have a width, and we have a height, correct? You kind of already found the length times the width earlier. You kind of have the height now. What is the volume of snow that we will use? That we will shovel. This one you're going to multiply 330 times 1/2. Multiply straight across, 330 over 2. Then I'm going to divide 330 divided by 2. 2 goes into 3 one time with 1 left over. 2 goes into 13 6 times with 1 left over. 2 goes into 10 5 times with 0 left over. So your volume would be 165 feet cubed. Cubic feet. Remember, volume is always cubed. All right. The very last couple questions on your test or quiz are very much similar to what you will see on your test. You have to think about what a fifth grader might do in a certain number of time, and then you multiply that. So with this being said, you need to remember that 1 hour equals 60 minutes. Okay? 1 day is 24 hours. And 1 week is 7 days. So if I do something 5 times per minute, and I need to figure out how many times I do it per hour, I'm going to do 5 times 60. Then to figure out how many times per day, I'll take that number times 24. Does that make sense? Do your very best on this quiz. If you have questions, please feel free to reach out. My favorite kind of ice cream was on a video early in our lessons and in our semester. It was early on in quarter 4. Everyone that is in my class right now should have watched that video. What is my favorite ice cream? Have a great day, guys.